Welcome, Gemini. It's your Mercury Cazimi deep dive video. On May the 14th, Mercury, your ruler, the planet of communication and precision, applies in an exact conjunction to the Sun in the earthy Taurus that's so precise they're totally unified. The brilliance and raw power of the Sun pours into Mercury, magnifying its qualities, a Cazimi. But what will it mean for you personally, Gemini? I'm going to share your event chart from a purely Gemini viewpoint. By the end of the video, you'll know how to seize this short but powerful window of opportunity around your work, energy, finances, and relationships. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. We're going to have 6 Mercury Cazimis this year. We've already had one in Pisces when Mercury was retrograde. That's known as an inferior conjunction. This one is a superior conjunction. Mercury's not in its retrograde. In fact, all the Mercury retrogrades this year are in water signs, and that's challenging because Mercury is at its best when it's cool and detached, not influenced by the watery, emotional, and potentially subjective energies of a water sign. However, if you cast your mind back to March the 7th, when that last Cazimi occurred, for you that was in the part of your chart with your connection to the world at large. Whether it was professionally, whether it's in your local connections and activities, whether it's in any kind of responsible or leadership role you have, there may have been a lot of confusion, a lot of distortion. You may have found yourself rather drained and very frustrated by the lack of clarity that was forthcoming. But fast forwards to now, you get a chance to unravel some of those events in a much clearer way. Because for you personally, Gemini, and rather ironically, the combination of the Sun and Mercury is in house 12, which has an echo of Pisces. It's not exactly the same, but the 12th house can be very much to do with the psychological domain. It can be to do with our emotion, and it can be to do with our subconscious, but it can also be to do with deep work we're doing behind the scenes. It could be research, could be working in a big institution where our precision and our conscientiousness, both Mercury and Virgo qualities, can really shine out in a very powerful way. But if we widen the lens and look at the overall event, the position of Mars, the planet of passion and drive, at home in the sign of Aries, and in the part of your chart to do with your network, is forging a fabulous link to Venus in your sign. And that sextile suggests if you're very clear about what you're wanting to manifest at the moment, despite these two being rather sheltered, you can be planning things behind the scenes that can start to roar forwards at speed in a very profound way. Also, Uranus, newly arrived in your sign, is in a stunning alliance with Pluto, very much to do with change. So, if there is something that you've been thinking deeply about, being in touch with your intuition about, which it's said that Geminis don't do so much, if you have been doing that, you can convert those ideas into action in a spectacular way. And of course, the sign of Taurus can be about resources. It can be about our self-worth. It can be about our life foundations, but also it can be about money. And it just so happens that Jupiter, the planet of opportunity, faith, but critically good luck, is for you in house 2, which has an echo of Taurus energy and is linking back to both Mercury and the Sun in a near perfect way. So in the build up to this event, there has been much more of a feel good vibe. It's just for you, you may have found yourself, if not subdued, just perhaps a little quieter, a little more reflective. But it's not just Mars and Venus that are forging a lovely link. The moon is linking to Venus as well. So if you're very clear about what your long-term hopes are, who you're collaborating with, your network, it may be around your friendships, this deep reflection that's been going on can pour into the open, particularly when the sun moves to your zodiac sign on the 21st, but also when Mercury moves into your sign on the 17th of the month. So you've got a few more days. So if things are just boiling away and you're not quite seeing the outcome at the moment, know that you're on the right track. Also, it's worth noting that Uranus, newly arrived in your sign, is also forging an inspirational link to Neptune. Uranus can be very much about instinct. Yes, it's about progression, can be about higher truths. It's also asking you to have more confidence in your individual approach. But if there are people that you can network with that you trust, I think the recent journey of the Sun through the sign of Taurus and also Uranus over the last 7 years has probably shook out of your situation a lot of people that perhaps weren't in your corner as much as you would have liked. It may have been challenging to get your head around it. It may have been disappointing. It may have been that you felt let down and even betrayed. But you're moving into a position of much greater personal awareness. And from a healing viewpoint, that's very profound indeed. Now, just to say also that the moon is in a very strong right angle with Jupiter. If there is someone that you are very connected to and you enjoy their company and you enjoy the good things that Taurus energy can bring, like good food and good wine and so on, you may want to get together with them, but you may want to do it discreetly, and particularly if it is a romantic possibility. So let's just summarize those four areas. But before I do, I should say I've slashed the price of my personal horoscope reports. You can now get three for the price of one. The one you pay for is your life roadmap report. Helps us to understand the patterns that have played out in our lives so far and get a more intimate understanding of working with them future forwards. The free ones, the 12 months transit, and your draconic soul analysis. Please see below for more. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've been interested in astrology since I was 14, but it's natal astrology that really lights up our life journey, and I'd love to share the knowledge with you. Now, if you've yet to watch your monthly forecast for May, please see that on the screen. If you've yet to watch your Uranus 78-year Kazimi, please see that on the screen. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, please check out my testimonials. And if you've yet to take advantage of my brilliant daily written horoscopes, 5 to your device each morning for your early day celestial pit stop, please do so below. So, to summarize, when it comes to your energy, it could be a little lower. You could be feeling more sensitive. It's saying to you, be very picky about who you spend time with. But also, what you can gain is a huge amount of insight from this particular Kazimi. Now, when it comes to your professional situation, the North Node right at the top of your chart continues the true North Node through to the end of July to ask you to trust the process. So even if you went through profound frustration through March and April with that previous Mercury retrograde and Kazimi, know that things can fold out for you as you wish, but do trust that process. When it comes to your financial situation, well, having Jupiter in the second house in that link to these guys is phenomenal. So the research you've been doing behind the scenes can pay off for you, but perhaps Uranus and Venus are saying to you, particularly with Venus's link to Mars, once you're clear about your plan, do have the confidence to really go for it in a flat out way. And if you are footloose and fancy free and you'd like to meet someone new, I think linking up with people that you're very close to, that you have a good history with, that could lead to an introduction by a friend of a friend. But people have been saying to me, can you please comment if I am already in a relationship? Well, I feel if you and your partner have that simpatico that's not always requiring a discussion, that more uh, that more sensory communication of just kind of knowing when to go and make a cup of tea, that really comes to light on this particular event. So it's about listening, but listening perhaps more to the more intuitive side of your partner's situation. Thank you so much for joining me, wishing you all the best, and look forward to seeing you again soon.